ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. There are many lessons to be learned from this Akhyayika. What is Akhyayika? A small tale, a narrative. And the narrative here is very interesting. We have a little story of a hermitage run by Patanjala Kapya, a Gurukula. And what kind of a Gurukula it was is also mentioned, where they were studying yajnas, the Kalpa Shastra. Kalpa is a Vedanga, is a part of the Veda, and part of the, when we say Veda here, we are talking of the first portion of the Veda. Karma Kanda. So there is Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Jnana Kanda is another name is Upanishad. Vedanta. Karma Kanda is how to do yajna, how to offer, what to offer, for which devata, when to offer. All these are important. You can't expect certain results, especially in things which promise certain results, like Shri Sukta Homa. Shri Sukta Homa means very expensive, and you have to propitiate the goddess with certain things, and those things have to be offered at the right time, in the right way, by the right person, because the adhikari also differs. Who can offer? Krishna Keshaha Yajet, meaning the one who has, Krishna Keshaha literally means black-haired one, but here it's not black-haired, whatever the natural hair color is, may that person is allowed to offer. Meaning, if you are graying and then you color your hair and become a Krishna Kesha, you are still not entitled to offer the yajna. This is the thing. So Krishna Keshaha Yajeta, and then Swarga Kamaha, meaning the person who is going to Swarga should do this. And only married people can do this. Certain homas are there. And some other homa like Samidha Danam, that unmarried person has to do, Brahmachari has to do. Like this, there are so many rules. And so this Yajna Shastra is not a simple thing. It needs a lot of memory, it needs a lot of, it's like a iti kartavyata is there, this is how it has to be done, steps are there. It evokes within oneself a lot of mindfulness. So this was the Grahastha lineage of Patanjala Kapya. The first thing we understand from this story is that it is basically teaching about the know-how of yajna, how this yajna is done. And why is the yajna done? The yajna is done for two reasons. One is when something is beyond one's reach, meaning you cannot get it through your own efforts. Why? Because there is a block, prarabdha standing in the way. There is a block in the way, so then you resort to prayer. Yajna is a form of prayer. It is, generally speaking, what is called a kamya karma. Kamya karma means a karma that is what is that? That is based on some desire. Kamya karma. So, in order to fulfill the desire, because if everybody could just get whatever they want by their own efforts, nobody would do yajna. But yajnas are very popular, much more popular than a Vedanta class. So you say, here is a big Chandi Homa, some big yajna, and then easily thousands of people will come. And you say, here is Vedanta class, 4 or 5 people will come. This is how popular yajnas are, because it is seen as a sure way, because there is so much shraddha, and it is seen as a sure way of gaining the objects of desire. This is what the yajna is all about. And so people bank on yajna, because the Vedanta study is seen as very difficult. Actually, it's the other way around. Vedanta study, you don't need dravyas, okay? You don't need to go shopping for ghee, and you don't need to go shopping for wood chips, or go and collect wood chips from the bottoms of trees, small branches, etc. You're not allowed to cut the trees. You have to collect the fuel, and then you have to build the vedi, the homa kunda you have to build, and the bricks have to be handmade by you. And sometimes it is 54 bricks, sometimes it is 108 bricks. Like this, all these things are there. You have to know which number for what. And then those bricks, when you hand make them, it has to be sun baked. What are you going to do if you live in Canada? How are you going to, especially in February? Okay, how are you going to sunbake your bricks? Where is the sun, first of all? And so this is something in the northern hemisphere, this becomes very difficult. Then, after you sunbake the bricks, then what else is left? Then you have to examine each brick to make sure that there is no crack. If there is a crack, then what do? You start from the beginning. You start from the very beginning. 108 bricks are there. The 98th brick has a crack. You cannot say, okay, I'll go 98, 99, 100 to 108. No, you have to go from 1 all the way. And then what else? Then you need to know how to offer, what to offer, where to offer, when to offer, when not to offer, how to conclude the yajna, what is Purnahuti, and how to bring this all about, how to close it, how to give prasad, all this you have to know. Much easier it is to join Zoom Kulam. Okay, yeah, you just turn on the computer, and there you are. It's much easier. All that is needed is you. You don't need materials, you don't need ayasa. You don't, ayasa means effort, prayatna. You don't need any effort, you don't need to get exhausted. You don't need to, what's that, financially you're not completely drained each time you attend Vedanta class. And the nicest thing about the study of Vedanta, as opposed to the performance of yajna, is that after one yajna is performed, immediately you're planning the next one. Okay, let's say, okay, this one went off very well. Fir kya? What's next? Oh, so this yajna was for money. But then, since the money came, the family, what is that called? Shanti, the peace of mind, has gone. So the next yajna is for peace of mind. Where is the end here? Where does it stop? How does it stop? It doesn't stop. It just goes on going, keeps going and going and going. So yajna has no end, and and Vedanta has no beginning. And so this is very, very interesting, because Vedanta is you. You have no beginning. And so therefore this is a very interesting interesting observation, that the study of Vedanta has an end, because the end is you, the end being you, and that you being the self-effulgent being that you need to discover as whole and free of any kind of want, free of seeking, free of fear, free of sorrow, free of despair, free of doubt. There is nothing more to do. So when you seek Vedanta, you seek the infinite as yourself. And if the infinite is the object of your quest, then the quest becomes finite, which is what one wants. Nobody wants to be a perma seeker. Nobody wants to be a seeker permanently. Who wants that? Nobody. And so this is why it is superior. This is why it is important. This is why it is so special. Nobody wants to be a permanent seeker. And then what? After that, in comparison, when you seek the path of yajna, meaning the path of fulfilling your desires one by one through the prayer in the form of yajna, it's okay, what's next? What's next? You become an infinite seeker. You see, there is a big difference between the seeker of the infinite. It's all in how the samasa, the compound is broken. Either you are the seeker of the infinite or you become an infinite seeker, meaning you seek infinitely. The former is better than the latter, because if you are the seeker of the infinite, then your quest is on the right path. The quest becomes finite. You will be united with what you seek. Wonderful. If you are the seeker of the infinite. But if you are an infinite seeker, that means each time you seek something and it doesn't fulfill you, you seek something else and something else and something else. A very, very sad situation. Because you have missed the infinite. If you miss the infinite, the loss of the infinite is an infinite loss. Definitely. And so this is the marga, karma marga. Karma marga means it's the path of fulfilling desires through trying to be a good human being and not cut the throats of other people in the excuse of competition, and not ride roughshod over their rights and privileges, and instead to be compassionate, and then also to convert your desires into prayer, because yajna is prayer. All the devatas are invoked. Give me good weather. They keep me away from hurricanes. There's a whole thing for hurricanes. And, and Vedanta just says you just change the spelling. Change it to Hari came. That's all. Hari is the Lord in the form of the hurricane has come. That's all it is. We learn to Ishvarize the universe, rather than to prevent this and to try to control the universe. And because the universe is not here to try and control it. This is what Vedanta would say. But in the path of yajna, the first portion of the Veda, those who follow the first portion of the Veda are in, in kindergarten, basically. In a playpen, in a playpen with various objects of desires. Just like a child, you go to daycare and then there is a playpen and then all the toddlers are there, and then one is playing with one toy, gets tired, throws it, and then throws a tantrum, and then two others are they want the same toy. There'll be hundreds of toys, but two of them want the same toy right now, at the same time, just now. And they are pulling each other and pulling the toy, and one of them falls, and then of course that one cries. The other one also cries for good measure, because it doesn't want to be left out. It also wants attention. That will also cry. And this is the playpen. It's a cacophony of non-thinking little individuals who don't know what they want. When they are hungry, they cry. When they are tired, they say they want to play, etc., etc. They don't know. When they are hungry and they are presented with food, they say, I don't want to eat. But it's very clear they are hungry. And then, I think you're tired, take a nap. No, I don't want to sleep. I want to play. And so this whole, the jiva, with its mismatched priorities, not knowing what it wants. Jiva means this, jaded, faded individual, jiva. And full of peeves. You can also say a synonym for jiva is piva, full of pet peeves. And so this jiva goes around complaining. And, it is like an ungrown. Ungrown means immature. An immature kindergartner. And in the kindergartner, it's cute. And the child in the playpen, the toddler, is cute because there is the hope. Yes, they are going to grow out of this. But with a grown jiva fighting with various toys, there is, it's very difficult to have the hope. That's why it is said in the Viveka Chudamani that this is all Daivanugraha Hetukam. Three things: Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. So the desire, the human birth is Bhagavan's gift. Human birth is Bhagavan's gift. And then the desire to have freedom from samsara, the desire to have cessation of samsara for oneself, that is Bhagavan's gift. And also the desire to have a teacher from whom I will understand how to be free of samsara, that also is Bhagavan's anugraha, grace of Bhagavan. These are all Bhagavan's gifts. And why? Because left to oneself and one's own shenanigans, one is not going to get there. Left to oneself, one will be marinating in the world of the first portion of the Veda, which is a treatise in wish fulfillment, in desire fulfillment. That is what the first portion of the Veda is. There is no other way out of it. That's all it is. How to do this, how to get that, give me this, give me that, and find me this right now. And also there are certain other prayers which people say. Find me this and let the other person who is wanting this not have this. So very difficult proposition. And then so like this is the first portion of the Veda, and this was what was being taught in Kapya Patanchala's hermitage. It was an ashram where people used to come to understand the know-how of doing yajna. Again, I told you why people do yajna: in order to gain things. When? Yesterday. Okay, yeah, because those are the urgent desires. This is not now, is also not soon enough. It has to already been there. It should have been there yesterday. And so this was the scenario. This the first thing we learn from the story, from the Akhyayika. Meaning what? Mired as they are in the first portion of the Veda, no wonder Kapya Patanchala, when asked by the wife masquerading as the Gandharva or masquerading a possession by the Gandharva, do you know this knowledge? And what does he say? He says, honestly, no, I do not know. On two different occasions she asked. First she says, Tat Sutram, that Sutra tam, Tat Sutram Janasi kim? Do you know this? And no, Vetha kim, do you know this? And he says, no, I don't know this. I can't say I know this. Then again she says, well, that sutra, maybe you don't know sutra, but you know what? That sutra is known as Antaryamin. Antastishtanyamayati. The one who remaining within again is metaphorical, within every kind of casing, every kind of upadhi, every kind of container, as it were, body, mind, sense complex, rules the whole universe from within, of course also from without, but from without it is easy to understand. Within, how to understand, that is the key. So she asked that question again, do you know this Antaryami? And what does he say? I can't say I do, I don't know this. And then she begins to teach in the voice and the persona of the Gandharva. Very beautiful, because when you say you don't know, see, that's the second thing we learn, is that in order to gain this knowledge, you should know that you don't know. You should know at least this much. What should you know? That I don't know this Brahman. Then only the knowledge can take place. If you go about saying, I know this, I know that, I know everything. Aham sarvajnaha. if you say this, then even Bhagavan is frustrated, because Bhagavan cannot send you anybody to teach also, because you will not you will not study, you will not understand, because the feeling is I know. So we have to learn a lot from the sage, from the Muni, Kapya Patanchala. He is able to admit, he has no ego issues, he is able to out himself and say, I don't know, even to his wife. Because after all, the Gandharva is, supposedly possessing the wife. And so even to the wife, who's behaving strangely, talking in a male voice, and giving herself a new avatara, a new name, and declaring herself to be Kabandha Atharvanaha, a very highfalutin Gandharva, the direct descendant of Lord Brahmaji, the creator, grandson of Lord Brahmaji. And so, and the and to who channeled the Atharva Veda like this, this is the one I am. And Kapya could have just said, just shut up, there is no time for this. Go make coffee for all the students. But we have to give him credit. What a great Mahatma he must be, that he believes in what she says, and he allows her to have the persona without putting her in a straight jacket and locking her up, and without saying, oh, don't take her seriously, and she's just mouthing off some things, it must be the full moon, and these things happen. He doesn't make fun of her. Very interesting. And that lady talking to, even though she's addressing the students also that are assembled there, she's giving a lecture basically, but she keeps addressing him by name. So it's very clear the knowledge is for him. And who is this him? The person who is ripe for this knowledge. The adhikari for this knowledge is pointed out in the persona of Kapya Patanchala Muni. And what is the adhikari here? Who is the one who is qualified for this knowledge? The one who is qualified for this knowledge is the one who has humility. He doesn't say, I know, and even if I don't know, you also don't know, shut up. Nothing. There is no iota of competition. There is no one-upmanship. There is total openness. And if he was surprised that the wife is talking in this male, voice, and is saying that she is possessed by a Gandharva, he doesn't let it show, and he doesn't let it affect his interactions with her. He is able to call her Bhagavan, oh Lord. Yes, I don't know this. So that is the humility. Humility is expressed in many ways. First, in admitting that he does not know. In admitting his ignorance, there is great humility. And there is great humility also in addressing that Gandharva which is speaking through the wife, however that might have happened, as Lord, oh Lord. I can't say I know this. And the third thing we understand is honesty. There is no masquerading of some, there is no, what's the word for it? Pressure for approval seeking. There is no pressure at all. There is no seeking approval, there is no fear, there is no difficulty in admitting that he does not know. He doesn't worry, oh, I'm in front of my students, they think I know everything, so I should not admit that I don't know. No such thing. So there is honesty, there is freedom from any kind of ahankara here. There is honesty, there is humility, and the ability to not be stuck in gender roles. Very beautiful persona here. And then what do we understand? One more thing we understand, number 4, is that all this yajna teaching and yajna performance has paid off. What do you mean it has paid off? So going through the first portion of the Veda makes one ready for the second portion of the Veda, which is its complete and whole purpose. The entire purpose of the first portion of the Veda, even though we call it a treatise in desire fulfillment, that it may be, but that would be just a very shallow reading of the first portion of the Veda. The first portion of the Veda is to recognize that recognize Bhagavan, Ishvara, God, as the source of the whole universe, as the one because of whom the universe has come into being, by whom it is sustained, unto whom it resolves, and even now the one who is non-separate, from whom the universe is non-separate. To understand that alone is the goal of the first portion of the Veda. And in understanding this, one develops a certain bhakti, shraddha, and also the wisdom, the viveka one gains, that everything is not in my control. There is a controller. There is someone who is in charge. Everything is not in my control. And then the other sign of maturity is to be able to let the desires go in the form of the prayer. Offer it up as a prayer. So after yajna, there are certain things that are followed. So after the offerings, Indraya Swaha, Indraya Idanna Mama. Indraya Swaha, I pray to Indra. This is an offering from Indra. Indraya Idam. This is for Indra. Idanna Mama. Even though I said, I want, gimme, quick. I want this, fulfill my desire. At the end, the Yajamana, the one who is offering the yajna, is taught to say, Idam na mama. This is not mine. The fruit here is not mine. Even though I prayed for it and I let it go. I prayed for it and I just let it go. Very nice. So along with the viveka, that I do not call all the shots, the vairagya in every time, idam na mama is chanted. This is not mine, this is not me, this is not for me. There is maturity and growth. We see that Kapya Patanjala is ripe for the knowledge that he gained from his wife, impersonating, posing as, possessed by, whatever you want to take, a Gandharva, a celestial. And very interesting, that is something we learn, that the transition, the graduation from the first portion to the second portion of the Veda is happening right in front of our eyes, where Patanjala Kapya is finally being blessed with a guru in the form of his wife. He must have wanted it. Then here it is happening. He's blessed with a teacher who is teaching him. First, who asked, do you know this? No, I don't know this. Yes, okay, I will teach you. Who's teaching him? So this is another thing we know. And then one more thing we know from this Akhyayika, and I touched upon this in the earlier class. And what is that? The fruit of this knowledge. We know what happens as a result of this knowledge. What happens as a result of this knowledge? And you stop wanting. You stop wanting. And and if you look at the results, we'll be going back to the results of the knowledge. We'll be reading that one by one. You stop wanting. But why do you stop wanting? Because you understand you are everything. I gave the example of the various tiers, like in some kind of a club membership, or in some frequent flyer membership. There are all these levels. So if you are platinum, if you are diamond, if you are gold, silver, or less than silver, what is there? Just a general member. And member means what? Nothing. You you can just look longingly at the lounge or somewhere in the airport. You can look at it for free without needing to pay anything. This is just a member. Silver means that there may be some hope that at some day you may be able to set foot there. Gold, the chances just improved. Platinum, oh yes, you can now start entering the lounge or some club or some room in a club, some elite place where they have some special food and drinks and games or whatever it is. And then diamond, yes, all of them are there with you. So like this kind of a this is how the human mind works. Brahman must be like this diamond level, right on top somewhere. And then there is a little worry, like that fellow who was a king of a small little what is it called, small tiny little hamlet somewhere, Raipur. A little pun on the word, because Rai in Hindi means mustard. So the kingdom Raipur means as big as the mustard seed, tiny little kingdom. And one day he was woken up. Maharaj, wake up. What happened? What happened? He's rubbing his eyes. What happened? Well, now you are the king of the whole of Bharat. The whole of India, you are the king. Really? Yeah. Wow. Oh, how nice. Wonderful. Yippee. Yay. Well, then that yippee and yay lasted only for 25 seconds, not even 30 seconds. Why? Because suddenly the fellow became very serious. Why did you become so serious? You such a wonderful, news I have brought you. Well, I have a question. I'm very attached to Raipur. If I become the king of the whole of the country, is Raipur included or not? Will I still be the king of Raipur or not? Because I'm very attached to being the king of Raipur. What a question. Correct? No need to mention Raipur at all. Why should we mention Raipur when the person has been promised the whole 9 yards? Whole 9 yards, everything. The person is told, and you can do whatever you want, and you can have this. And then, but is this included or not? There is a great worry because there is an attachment, there is a sangha, there is some kind of a dysfunctional draw. And that is why here, let us go back to the text. The Gandharva in the persona of the lady of the house, Mrs. Kapya, Mrs. Patanchala, mentions mentions everything, because nothing here is accidental or redundant in the Veda. So first is यो वै tat kapya sutram vidyat. The one who understands this sutra, tam cha antaryaminam. Antaryaminam meaning, how does one understand the connecting force of the whole universe as the one that is sitting in one's own heart, as non-separate from the one. This is a Mahavakya here, very beautiful. One who understands the controlling force, the connecting force of the whole universe as non-separate from the indweller of oneself. The indweller which is oneself. The one who recognizes everything, the one to whom everything becomes evident, the one who does not become evident to any other force in the universe, that I which is self-conscious, which is limitless, which is whole, which is in fact nothing other than Satchidananda. And that I alone is talked about here as what? The cause of the universe. And the one who understands this sutra, this connecting force, as a non separate from oneself. Sutram vidyat. Tam antam cha antaryaminam iti. This is the antaryami. So there are two things here. One is sutra. That's why she puts it in the form of two questions. She says first, do you know the sutra? Do you know that the whole thing has kind of a string in which the whole jagat in the form of this pearl necklace is made? All kinds of beings are, strung on this very interesting necklace. The necklace has zebras and giraffes. The necklace has lions and tigers and weeping human beings, and the necklace has stars, skies, galaxy, space, time. Time is also a bead in the necklace. And then the necklace also has, what else can we have? Grasses, forests, trees, oceans, five elements, the wind, the fire, everything, the sense organs, everything. Then it's strung in this huge endless necklace. And that string, if one knows, so when we talk about string, we are talking about the interconnecting force, the force because of which there is interconnection, because of which everything is strung together. One string, many beads. So one Brahman, many, many things, many, many names and forms, which iterate in different manners, different ways, endlessly. And one string, it's in hearing all that is here. Very nice, very beautiful. So this is what is meant by sutra. So the first thing she asks him is, yeah. So how does she say? No, tvam veta. Do you really know? Do you know this sutra? And this is the sutra. See how beautiful. And then it's not enough to know the sutra because nothing happens. Knowing the sutra, knowing that there is a sutra or some kind of a connectedness in the whole universe, only accelerates the depression. You know why? Because you feel more disconnected. You say, oh, there is a wonderful sutra and I am not part of it. And so what if it's fir kya? So to kya hua? So what if there is a sutra? What is it going to do for me? Nothing. And so this is only one part of the teaching. This is part A. Okay. So like Medicare, there is part A and part B. And so this is just one part. One part. And what is this one part? That there exists a connecting force because of whose presence everything comes into being, because of whose presence everything is sustained, because of whose limitless knowledge everything shines as an object of knowledge, because of whose limitlessness everything shines as limitless, shining in borrowed feathers of Sat Chit Ananda are all names and forms. Sat, the source of existence, Chit, what is Chit? That shining self effulgent knowledge, which is in the form of knowledge, which is in the form of knowing, which is in the form of a knowledge that never says, I do not know. Because even when you're constrained to say I don't know, what you're saying when you say I don't know is I know that I don't know. Very nice. And so that which is limitless, Ananda Ananta, this Satchidanandam Brahma, this is what is the sutra. And it's this Ishvara is the sutra. But that Ishvara, as the knowledge of Ishvara as the sutra, as a string that connects this whole universe, including this body mind sense complex, doesn't do much. And then, to make matters worse, the modern translators have translated Antaryami as what? Inner controller. Look at any book. I had to change it in the text here. Inner controller. Already there is bada bada big controllers outside, okay? And there is the boss at work, and then there is the boss at home, who, the spouse, the significant other, and then there is a boss somewhere else, and then there's full of, there are full of bossy people in the whole universe, to whom I have to listen, to who are very touchy, and who will make life miserable for me if I don't do this, or if I do this wrong. I have to be worried and walking on eggshells. And now, then, sick of all this, I decided to study the Upanishad. And then what? And then now I'm told there is one bada inner controller. In addition to all these outer controllers, inside also I'm being controlled. How terrible. That's why we should not translate it as controller. The word yam is the one who restrains, really. And this is how, I suppose, it led to the definition controller. It's a very sad choice of words in English. It sounds worse. In Sanskrit, it is very beautiful. Antaryami is the name of the Lord. So beautiful. Name of the Lord that indwells you. So yam, to restrain. And why is the restraint not in the form of holding back, or disciplining? Restrain in the form of not letting loose in a wild way for all things to just do whatever they want. That is the restraint we are talking about. It's a strategic, studied, calculated, and knowledgeable and compassionate restraint. It is not some kind of thing, everything going wild and chaotic, like some kind of a, you know, um, fish market, or some big, where everybody is just fighting and everything. There is no laws, there is no rule of law prevailing, there is no dharma, everything is just up for grabs, and the survival of the fittest, even that's a law actually. But here, everybody is bashing everybody up. It's not like that. So the inner control, this inner controller is a very sad choice of words. So it's more of a ruler, the one who rules the heart, the one who is the compassionate presence in the heart, who is non separate from you, this Ishvara. Because if you say controller, already one has control issues, one has authority issues, and those are just going to be multiplied. Like, oh no, I don't think I like this Ishvara, who has somehow, I know he never took permission to enter me, and now he has entered me. Now he's going to tell me what to do from within. Already there are enough people to tell me what to do from without. No. So it is more of a restraint in the sense of not so much holding back, but keeping the harmony. Because without restraint there is no harmony. Keeping the synergy, keeping the harmony, keeping the peace, and keeping this universe in an impossible yet infallible stasis of letting it run smoothly. One wonders, how can it be running? Here there is some imminent war, there is some drought, and somewhere else there is, people screaming. There is some dictator, and then somewhere else there is drought, there is floods, and climate change. But still it runs. Somehow it runs. How it runs, we don't know, but it runs. It doesn't run, the whole universe doesn't run because of us. In fact, it would be correct to say it runs despite us. In spite of us, it runs. In spite of us, every day individually and collectively sabotaging Bhagavan's plans, trying to waylay Bhagavan's plans. And the Lord Vishnu must have a headache. That's why, in Tirupati, they put a big camphor patch. I used to imagine when I was small. And that camphor patch comes from a story where he was in the form of an ant hill or something like that. That is not Valmiki here. Mahavishnu was just in the form of the ant hill or something like that, and he was drinking the milk of a cow. Some story is there. And then some woodcutter comes and mistakes him for a tree or something like that, and gives him a whack on the head. And that's why the avatara of Balaji has like a cool camphor patch. And even though I knew this story when I was small, I would think, okay, Bhagavan, we are the headache for Bhagavan. Bhagavan must have a big headache because of us, and that's why he needs a camphor balm on his head. I used to think like that, but I was wrong. Why? This was just a child's imagination. I was totally wrong, because the one who doesn't have a headache is Bhagavan. That Antaryami doesn't have a headache, doesn't take everything. But why does he not have a headache? Well, the reason is very simple. He doesn't have a head. That's he. No head is without him, but he himself is headless, tailless, formless, handless, legless. So therefore, no head, no headache. Simple. And really speaking, even on a deeper level, there is no stress. There is no stress. So if you look at the persona of Lord Vishnu lying on the original memory foam mattress or a coiled mattress, and then this is Adishesha, the serpent, and then lying down like this, Shayane, Shayanam, Sarvam Bibharti, protects everything, keeps everything, even while lying down, protects everything. No stress, no fuss. I mean, here, one cannot barely run one's own life, let alone a corporation. You just are struggling to run your own life. And there, the Lord Vishnu runs the whole universe without, while smiling, without a frown, without any kind of stress, no fuss, no mess. That is Bhagavan. And in these laws, Bhagavan is not the creator of the laws. Bhagavan is non separate from the laws. Bhagavan is manifest as the laws. And so, wherever there is a law, there is Bhagavan. Wherever there is synergy, there is Bhagavan. Wherever you discover an interconnectedness, there is Bhagavan. That connectivity is Bhagavan. That oneness is Bhagavan. That's why, when a researcher, the researcher is never able to leave, keeps on discovering, oh, more, more, more. What will this lead to? Where will this lead to? Because the researcher has discovered Bhagavan in the process of all these ways of how something moves, how something fits something else, and how two completely unconnected things are connected somehow. And there are certain ways in which there is, I mean, if you look at the laws of physics, it's just mind boggling. And then from physics you take a little bit, a small leap, and then you come to quantum physics, even more mind boggling. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating because it leads you to the brink of Vedanta, where all the scientific experiments really stop. All hypotheses stop, because it clearly shows that the observer is affecting the experiment. If the observer is affecting the experiment, that means that that object of the experiment is non separate from the observer. Very interesting. So, even though the observer is looking at the experiment, that sutra, that invisible sutra that connects the observer and the observed, is very much there in the form of this Antaryami. So, this is the sutra. Sutra means in the form of the manifest laws that are discoverable, that have been discovered, some of which are yet to be discovered. So much we don't know. Each time we think we know something about the universe, there are many more I don't knows than I know. That's why every day there are new discoveries. And some discoveries are very, very old, in the sense that the year 2021, we are told, was a bonanza, was a bonus year for discoveries in the realm of the paleo, the stone age, Neanderthal age, and the early human beings and what they did and everything. So many things. It's amazing. They found amazing, the whole idea of when human beings came to Europe, for example, has been completely challenged on the basis of one tooth that happens to be 55,000 years old. That's all. One tooth, one molar, based on one molar, which is not, and that too a child's molar, which is not even 2 inches long, which is a child that was there alive 55,000 years ago. Think about it. Think about this. This is just so fascinating. And from there they understood two things, that human beings and Neanderthals, the humanoids, lived side by side. First it was thought that the Neanderthals became extinct, and then the human beings came into being. No, now they are saying they lived side by side. And the migration of the people from Africa to Europe took place 50,000 years before they thought it had taken place. So you see, these are old discoveries, but happening now, in the sense of they are new now. Amazing. And when these things are discovered, that is also that the pace of the discovery, the time of discovery, everything is managed by Bhagavan, is non-separate from Bhagavan. All this is so fascinating. And whenever you discover this, that one is in touch with the Lord. Whenever you discover some synergy, whenever you discover, that's why people get excited about coincidences, because coincidence is Bhagavan. Coincidence is a synonym of Bhagavan. People get very excited. People say, "Oh, I thought of you yesterday and here you are." Oh, why should you get so excited? Okay, you thought of the person came. Because, what is the connection between the thinking of the friend and the appearance of the friend? What is the connection? Invisible. Sutra. Sutra. Amazing, because there is the connection between your thought and the manifestation of your friend. Your friend is separate from you, does not share your body, does not share your mind, does not share anything other than perhaps a deep love and some loves, likes and dislikes. That's what your friend shares. But then here, your thought manifests the friend. Your thought, in the form of the desire to see the friend, actually manifests the friend the very next day. Amazing. Leading people, to to try out, to see what all can I manifest. Let me try to manifest something or the other. This is called the new age movement. This is where people just sit down and try to keep manifesting things. To them all we say Om Namaha, because Vedanta begins when the desire for manifesting something or the other is ends. You understand yourself as non separate from all the manifestations. That is Vedanta. Not trying to manifest some more things you like and dislike. But going back to this point, that is Bhagavan. Coincidence is Bhagavan. Bhagavan says, "That's not my name." Coincidence is not my name, but you can call me by any name, doesn't matter. I don't call it coincidence, it is just me. So coincidence is Bhagavan. Any kind of synergy is Bhagavan. Any pattern we see is Bhagavan. And the pattern sometimes manifests as disarray, disorder. That disorder is not opposed to Bhagavan. This is so fascinating. Disorder is part of the order. The order is so vast, so endless, so beautiful that it can accommodate the disorder, so to speak, because the disorder has a function. Like even the fever within the body has a function. So when you feel feverish, of course, right now, of course, don't take it because everybody concludes that they are having COVID. Okay, so we live in we live in strange times. But generally speaking, when there is a feeling of feverishness, then what do you immediately think? Okay, something is not right. Then there is the ability to correct it. And so what do you say? Okay, I need to drink something warm, I need to bundle up, I need to take it easy, I should take rest, I should be kind to myself, all these things. So the fever is there is so you know, if we don't know this, we think of fever from the standpoint of a person who's not very introspective. The person would say, oh, I had all these plans and this stupid fever has come, how terrible, this is wrong. How can God be there if God is giving me fever? Hello, God never said that. Bhagavan never made a pact with you that you will not have fever, okay? If there is a body, there will be fever once in a while. That is a way of the body correcting itself. That is a way the body warns you. It says, you know what? There is something needing to be corrected. There is something needing to be righted. There is something that is not okay. It is waking you up to the fact. And that not okay, this fever actually is, when you tell somebody, like let's say who, yes, the homeopathic doctor, the homeopathic doctor gives you some medicine, and then you get fever, the homeopathic doctor gets very excited. You get angry sitting in front of the homeopathic doctor. What do you mean you're happy? No, this is a point of research. Oh, you got fever from this. That means this medicine will help. So, for the homeopathic doctor, the fever is a manifestation of Ishvara there, and Ishvara in the form of research into the human body. Amazing. It's just full of laws. Even disorder is part of the order. So, if there are bodily disorders and dysfunctions, things like even genetic defects, part of the order. But which order are you talking about? Now we are talking about the karmic order. That is part of the karma. When there are eyes, wherever there are eyes, they see. This is the order. But then, in this order of sight and how the sight takes place, there is aberrations. There are aberrations. There is glaucoma. There is all kind. There is, what is that called? Some kind of a degeneration, macular degeneration, and that comes in two varieties also, have been singled out. One is the dry variety and one is the wet variety, and all these things are there, and then how to treat each of them, all this is there. And so then why is there blindness, why is there glaucoma, why is there extra pressure behind the eyes, why is there macular degeneration? Because of the karmic order of the individual beings who are suffering from those conditions. That karmic order is also part of the order. So every disorder only affirms the order, only affirms the orderliness of the entire universe of names and forms. This is the sutra he is talking about. That nameless one. That she is nameless is very, very apt here because Bhagavan also is completely no name, no form, nothing here. Amazing. And so, this is sutra. And then knowing this Ishvara, big deal. Okay, there is an order, big deal. What does it do for me? That's why the word Antaryami is introduced. And who is this Antaryami? The one who is there, who is non-separate from you. Antaryami. And what is the English translation of Antaryami? And the English translation would be remaining invisible, remaining non objectifiable, but a discernible presence. A presence that is not objectifiable. How to bend one's mind around it? Well, there are two ways an object becomes available to me. One, one set of objects are called pramana siddha. Pramanaihi siddha. That which get accomplished, get become known through what is called the means of knowledge, about which we had a lot to say in the yesterday's class. That is why I began with that. So there are many objects that we are familiar with that are called pramana siddha. Very nice. And then what is pramana siddha? Whatever you see, pramana siddha. Pramana here is the eyes. So form and color, pramana siddha. Sounds, pramana siddha, by the ears. Smells, pramana siddha. Touch, pramana siddha. Taste, pramana siddha. Inference, pramana siddha. Arthapatti, etc., etc. Everything, every means of knowledge, pramana siddha. Every object that comes to be known through the operation of a particular means of knowledge, particular way of knowing, pramana siddha. Contrast this with yourself. Are you pramana siddha? Yes? No? What is the answer? Are you pramana siddha or not?
No,
No.
no.
No. Why?
It's
Because you don't need a means of knowledge in order to be known. You know yourself. Why? Because you are self evident, self effulgent self. You are already there. And so, therefore, what? You are Swatas Siddha. These are two opposites. Pramana Siddha, that which comes to be known through a or through many pramanas, through one or more than one pramanas operating, more than one way of knowing, means of knowledge. And then Swatas Siddha, the one who is evident to oneself without any effort, without the operation of a means of knowledge. The one who is self evident is called Swatas Siddha. So, what is Pramana Siddha? Everything in the whole universe, in the entire vast universe, whatever is there is Pramana Siddha. So, everything that you see, Pramana Siddha. Whatever you hear, Pramana Siddha. Whatever you smells you pick up, Pramana Siddha. And whatever you objectify, pramana siddha. Whatever you sense, like time and space, which you objectify internally through sakshita, through the witness, through the presence of the witness. Witness perception, it is called. Sakshi pratyaksha, pramana siddha. Then what is swatas siddha? Of all the objects in the universe, there is only one thing that is swatas siddha, that which shines without needing a pramana, like the sun which shines without needing to be shown with the help of a flashlight. This is you, swatas siddha. You alone, swatas siddha. The whole drishya varga. Drishya varga means the world of objects that are seen, heard, which are at the mercy of your sense organs. You objectify your body, you objectify the body of another, you objectify your mind, you can sense the feelings of another person, especially if it is, your child or any loved, family member. Oh, you seem a little off today. Are you okay? How did you know? Well, because you're objectifying not them, but their mind. their senses, your mind, your senses. Why can't you objectify them? Because the presence in them is the same presence in you. That presence here is called Antaryami. That Bhagavan who obtains as the truth of you, as that very essence and the very core of you, when everything that is changeable, when everything that is changing, when everything that is subject to destruction is taken out of the equation. Body taken out of the equation because it is finite. Mind taken out of this equation because it is finite. Taken out of the equation means cognitively, okay? You're not trying not to have a mind. Please don't do that. So, the body taken out of the equation, cognitively speaking, mind taken out of the equation, senses taken out of the equation, everything taken out of the equation, and what remains is the one who is the taker outer of everything, you. That presence, in whose presence everything comes to light. That that unobjectifiable, self-present, self-illumined, self-evident presence, which which shines effortlessly, in whose light all things come to light, without whose light nothing comes to light. That is what is called, that is what is called tvam pada vichara, the inquiry into the nature of the I. And the I is at the mercy of various suppositions, various notions. And the I thinks I am this, I am that, I am this much alone, all this. And so all this is being questioned now by the second question asked by the Gandharva here, the one that is masquerading in the Gandharva's voice. And what is that? Do you know Antaryami? You see, these are not two different things. The sutra is Antaryami, and this, but the word Antaryami here is used separately from the standpoint of the one who is the indweller of the heart. Sutra means Ishvara in the form of laws. Big deal. What's going to happen if I know that? Nothing is going to change. But hey, you are that Ishvara. You are that, which obtains in the heart. That is Ishvara. When that is told, then the whole thing changes. Then that there is a spark, there is a ray, there is all kinds of, that is the wonder, because the desire is to be limitless, is to be one with Ishvara. And here is what is going to be told, that you are already one. And so let us read. So that's why there is Sutra and then there is Antaryami. Sutra in the form of Lord, and in the form of laws, which is nothing non-separate from the Lord. So that sutra is in the form of manifest universe, which is governed by various wonderful laws. That is the sutra. Antaryami, the one in whose hands all the laws are. The intelligence, the sentient, conscious principle, quote unquote, behind the laws, the author of the laws, so to speak, the one in whose presence the laws operate. Bhishasmadvatah pavate, bhishodeti suryah, bhishasmadagnischendrascha, mrityurdhavati panchama iti, says the Taittiriya Upanishad. It is as though out of fear of this Antaryami alone, what? The Vataf pavate, the wind blows. The wind blows because, as though it is afraid of these very laws. The wind blows. In afraid here means out of reverence for that law. This is the restrainer, you see. Because if the wind was left free to do whatever it wants, then it would wreak havoc. But there is a method behind the so-called mad wind, which is hurricane over here, which is something of tsunami over there. Even there is a law. Bhishasmad vataf pavate. And it is as though out of deep reverence that the sun rises every day. Bhishodeti suryaha. And then what? Then Agni and what was the other one? Indra. They all perform their duties. They all do everything out of respect for which force? And then finally, Mrityu, the one who makes everyone run. Oh my God, let me run. Here comes Lord Yama, Mrityu. And what does this Mrityu do? The Mrityu runs in command to whom? That is the first meaning. The Mrityu which makes you run, runs because of which boss? That is the Antaryami. And here it is called Panchama. Panchama means it's the fifth in the list. So, air we have, Vataha Pavate, air, the wind blows, and then what else do we have? The Surya Udeti, the sun rises because of whom? Indra and Agni. So, we have four. And Panchamaha, the Mrityuhu, the fifth one, Mrityu, which makes everyone run. Death makes everyone run, and here the one that gives death a run for the money is called is called Bhagavan, and that is one meaning. Second meaning is dhavati here should not be taken as run, but more as leaps, jumps. Why? Because mrityu is without any kind of a mrityu doesn't come according to chronology. So if there is some kind of a, let's say, let's say there is a group of, what are they called, nonagenarians, 90 years old. Let's say one is 98 and the next one is 97, third one is 96. Mrityu doesn't go, okay, 98 one swaha, 97 one swaha. No. The 98 one continues to live. Suddenly, 8-year-old Swaha. How? How? Why? This is strange. There is a law here. There is a command. And that the one who is commandeering this is invisible. Is not present in the form of a particular form, a name. Not present means not objectifiable, not present as an object. And that is the same. That Bhagavan who is nameless, formless being is the same as the one that you recognize as the indweller of your own heart. This is the Mahavakya. That is why the teaching is complete here. In her unfolding of this Antaryami. That's why the Sutra and Antaryami are used together without having a sense of redundancy. More we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.